under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Boatwright. We do have a quorum today, so we'll call this meeting to order at 9:03. Ms. Iwaski, do we have any citizens' comments?
No, sir.
Item 1, consider and take actions on minutes from previously held meeting of the Commissioners Court on December 10th, 2019. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Judge, I move that we accept the minutes as presented for County Commissioners Court on December the 10th, 2019.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner McCam to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2019 as presented. All those in favor? Item passes. Item number 2, consider and take action on the addition of a seatbelt policy to the Henderson County Personnel Manual. Ms. Beavers.
Good morning, Court.
Good morning.
Last week I met with the Texas Association of Counties Risk Management representative, and he had asked if we had a seatbelt policy in our personnel manual, and I had told him no, and he said that it would just be, he advised that we would put just 2 sentences into the policy that state, Texas state law requires that seatbelts be worn in all motor vehicles. All county employees must wear a seatbelt when operating a county-owned vehicle or any vehicle used for county business. So I'm just asking that you guys review and approve to add this addition to the personnel manual.
Questions?
I think that's something we just overlooked.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second his motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Thomas to amend the personnel policy in Henderson County, adding a seatbelt requirement in all motor vehicles. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 3, consider and take action to approve the issuance of a cell phone to the county auditor's office. Ms. Lee?
Yeah, I think my memo to the court was self-explanatory, that with the new requirements with open records requests and having to retain that information and use up our own cell phone memory, I just think it would warrant having a phone for the office, since everyone in the office gets texted all day long.
Okay.
From the memo, it sounds like it's just be kind of like just an office phone.
It really
They're just gonna send all of their texts that they receive to that phone.
Right, just take a picture of it and send it there, and then it's stored for future reference if we need it.
And this is all due to the changes over the last session and previous case law of that all information is backed up. Okay. I know that we've been discussing the use of SMARSH technology, and I know that you've been a part of a couple of webinars on that. Could you elaborate?
It's fascinating technology, and I really think Clint Davis would really find it interesting that they will retain the data on text messages or any other services. Of course, each service costs more money per unit. For emails, letters, anything that's electronically sent, and they will store it out there instantly, so you don't even have to worry about saving it, or if I accidentally did delete a message, it's already out there on their data bank, and they'll store it up for 2 years, which is the standard requirement, but they can store it up for an indefinite amount of time if the court's willing to pay for it. So, but it is expensive technology. I'm looking at 130 phones, they're talking about $12,000 a year.
That $12,000, of course, we're looking at for the text messages.
Only.
That's just for that. Our IT director, Josh Brock, with our current email system, we have that protection through Google, since we use the Google Suites and such, so that our emails are taken care of in that fashion. What we're discussing here is completely cell phone.
Text messages.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
No questions, Judge.
The other departments, as this becomes needed, of course, the submission of a memo from the department. We went through this during budget about providing this, so the other departments that feel they need this sort of protection will be seeing more of this in the future. Any other questions, comments? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion, Judge. We approve the cell phone for the audit office.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the issuance of a cell phone to the county auditor's office. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 4, consider and take action to approve the sanitary control easement agreement with Bethel Ash Water Supply Company. Now, this is located in Precinct 3, and we have addressed this previously. And due to the fact if we can drag this discussion out for 6 minutes, we'll be right on time for our 9:15 public hearing. So,
I don't know if I can do 6 minutes on this.
Commissioner McCann.
This is, court, this is the same agreement that we signed 3 or 4 weeks back. It went to the state, and they had a newer form than the form we filled out. And the new form, all they did on it was they defined the sewage drain fields and further defined unsanitary conditions. And then what the main thing I want everybody to know is this is just for our road right away. They have to get this same form signed by all of the other property owners around the well also. But I mean, it was things like we can't put a military facility on the property. You know, that's the kind of changes, rewording that it did. I mean, this is 1/4 of an acre.
Mm-hmm.
And then they define sewage drain off, and then they define unsanitary conditions. But other than that, it's the same form we signed 2 weeks ago.
Mr. County Attorney, you worked extensively on this. If you would, for the public's information, paint us a picture.
It's just as silly as Commissioner McCann painted the picture. It's another state requirement. They went back and added to military facilities was one of them. There's some other industrial operations that we can't do that have to do with the storage of hazardous waste and petroleum. And again, it's only over our county road. I don't know if we had any plans to put in a military base on that 4 acre of our county road. But it's what the state requires in order for us to do this. We'll, in essence, save the residents and users of that Ash water system from having to pay the fees that they would otherwise be subjected to if we didn't grant this easement.
And this is association with a new proposed well that they're putting in, or is it an existing well?
It's a new well.
It's a new well. And it only pertains to our right-of-way, which is an easement unto itself. And some of the discussion previously that basically we are granting an easement to the easement.
And what it does is, again, it does protect that well location and the water supply. So the state, TCEQ, they come in and say that in a radius of 150 feet around the well, you have to be prohibited from doing all of these things. Well, when the water company does not own that entire 150-foot radius, they have to go out to the adjoining property owners and obtain these easements restraining the landowners from doing it. We don't own property adjacent to this. We just have a county road that runs adjacent to the well location. And in my position, we can't give the easement anyway, but the state wants us to sign off on this easement saying that we will not do all of these prohibited things on our county road.
Questions or comments? Okay.
If there are no others, I move that we grant this sanitary control easement to Bethel Ash Water Supply Company.
I'll second his motion.
With judge's authorization?
Yes,
Okay.
with the judge's authorization to sign.
Motion made by Commissioner McCamp, second by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the sanitary control easement agreement with Bethel Ash Water Supply Company with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Let's move on to item 7, which is to receive financial reports.
Judge, I have none for today.
Okay. Item 8, which is consider and take action on payroll distributions and accounts cash sheets. Ms. Harris?
I do have payroll totals for biweekly 25.
Questions for Ms. Harris? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner McCam. All those in favor? Item passes.
And I don't have any account cash sheets this week.
No accounts, cash sheets. Okay, thank you. Item 9, consider and take action on submitted contracts.
I have no contracts in.
Item 10, consider and take action on requests for right-of-way permits.
No wrong ones.
Item 11, consider and take action on submitted budget amendments. No budget amendments. Item 13, consider and take action on submitted plats.
No plats.
No plats. Okay, we got 30 seconds we can kill.
Bills.
So talk amongst yourselves while we
Bills.
wait. No, I don't want to go into bills. It's almost 9:15.
You're staying on the items nicely, Judge.
I'm good at skipping around. Now, when we start back up again, it may be a... All right. It is now 9:15. Item 5 is a public hearing to discuss the permanent status of vote centers in Henderson County. This portion of our meeting is to enter into a public hearing for the public to give us input and feedback on the November 5th election and the vote centers and how they operated. We can get a motion to enter into public hearing?
So moved, Judge, to enter into public hearing. 9:15.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley to move into public hearing. All those in favor? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your opportunity to speak. We do ask that you come forward to the podium, give your name and your address for the record, and you'll be given 3 minutes to speak. So if anyone wishes to come forward to speak to the vote center status, please do. This is your opportunity.
I'm Nell Wilbanks. My address is 10213 County Road 3817, Athens. I've been working the elections for several years, and this year when we had the vote center operation, it worked very smoothly. Most of the voters that we talked with really liked it, because particularly the ones that work in Athens or some of the other districts that may have had to leave work early to drive to get to their own center was able to go ahead and vote in the vote center. So I think it went over very well, and I think the public really is for this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Ivory Gibbons. I live at 5850 County Road 3918, Athens. The vote center worked really well for me. I happened to be in town, and instead of going back out to my voting precinct to vote, I just stopped by the the main office and voted, although it was busy at the time. But I was able to do that and not have to bypass home and come back to go home. So I think the vote center is a very good idea, and I hope that you pass it.
Thank you.
Daniel Hunt, my address is 8162 County Road 3713 here in Athens. I will be the chairman of the Henderson County Republican Party starting on December 31st. And I've been a previous county chairman in another county and also worked as an election judge in that county. And I know the problems we had in that county with people having to vote in their specific precinct. And they'd get there with 5 minutes left to vote, and they'd be at the wrong place. And they didn't have time to get to another place. So I will tell you, it was very refreshing to see this vote center, how well it worked. I've heard no complaints, and I've heard all good things about it, how easy it made it for people to vote. And I think it's a very good thing, and I would recommend that we keep it.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good morning. My name is Linda Martin. I live at 208 Hillside Drive in Athens, Texas. I've been working the voting centers, the elections with Denise for quite a few years now. Usually, before the voting centers, we would sit down there and figure out what we was going to do next. This time, we didn't have time to do that. We had an awesome turnout. We had more voters run through that election than we've had in a long time. So I think that keeping the election centers is a fantastic idea. We had not one complaint, not one. It went with ease. Of course, now we had a line all day long. We never got to I don't think we got to eat lunch, did we? You ate. I ate. Oh, that's right. I'm a diabetic. I had. Oh. No, we actually, in fact, we had such a huge turnout. We had to end up opening up 2 more machines but everybody was very pleasant. Nobody had to wait over 30 minutes. You would have thought it was a huge primary election but I think it's an awesome idea for the city of Athens. I think we should keep it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak to the subject? One last call. Seeing that no one wishes to speak further, ask for a motion to close public hearing.
So moved, Judge.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to close public hearing at 9:21 a.m. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 6, consider and take action to request that Henderson County be granted permanent vote center status from the Secretary of State for future elections. Ms. Hernandez?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Linda and some of my other election workers stated, we did have an excellent turnout. 11.33% increase from the last constitutional amendment. I know at my location here in town, we voted 880. After looking at the numbers, 819 were from different precincts. Wow. So it's increased our turnout here in town. I feel like it's one of the best things for the county. It's close to where you work, where your daycares are, or even where you live. Gives those voters that extra opportunity to actually turn out and vote and not be turned away. Like I said in the past, in previous elections, I've sent anywhere from 400 voters away from my location on election day. We didn't have to turn away anybody. I made an announcement a couple of times throughout the day, letting them know that at the Rock, just a couple of blocks away, there was no line. If they were in a hurry and they needed to leave, I maybe had 2 step out of line. because the line did run smoothly. It was probably a 30, 35-minute wait, but no one complained. They got in, they voted, and then they left. We did multiple surveys. I don't believe we saw any that were in objection to having vote centers. Everybody agreed that it was the best thing for the county. They did make a recommendation, though, that we should have donuts at the polling place. So, but in any case, I know, right? For my diabetics, right? Yes, so, anyway, I think that it's the best thing for the county, and this public hearing that we just had was another formality of getting that successful status. And so all we're needing to really do is get a letter from the judge requesting that status to the state. And that's what we're looking to do.
Okay. Questions from Ms. Hernandez?
Of course, I voted at a new location at the Crossroads School, which is where I live in that area, and it was very handy. It worked out perfect, plenty of parking. So I was very impressed with my center at Crossroads ISD. So, and I've heard also very positive remarks to my office. So, thank you.
Is there any way to capture that, the number of, you said you turned 400, usually turn 400 away. Is there any way to capture that number? Would that be from, can't remember what those voters are called, were they? Provisional ballots. How many did you have?
We did have some provisionals. Mainly it's because they believe that they registered at DPS. And so that allows us that 5-6 extra days to contact DPS and maybe get a copy of the application where they actually checked that they wanted to register to vote. I think of those, we probably had 27 provisionals. In previous elections, we've had anywhere from 230 provisionals. So that cut down on our provisionals. You're always going to have a provisional because they're always going to think at one time.
Well, I was trying to say that about the provisionals, but also about the 400 that you turned away. There's no longer a way to capture anybody that you're turning away. It would just be probably the only reason why you're turning somebody away is they're not registered.
They're not registered, that's correct.
So that would be the only.
And in that case, we don't want to turn them away anyway. We want to allow them and offer them a provisional ballot so that we can see if we can get it qualified so that they can actually cast that ballot.
Okay. I think your team did a great job. And I think that we're moving in the right direction.
I think it's the way to go.
If you would, how many registered voters do we have in the county?
We have a little over 52,000 registered voters.
In the previous presidential election, that turnout was?
I believe it was anywhere from 24 to 26,000 was our turnout.
And that's what we're bracing for that in the coming year.
Yes, sir.
Well, everyone expects this next coming election to be the largest turnout that we've had in our lifetimes, is what we're expecting. Okay. And having the vote centers available is going to be able to hopefully move that large volume of voters through our system, allowing them the opportunity to vote and not getting frustrated and walking away because of being at the wrong location or all of that.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's always been a problem. When they go to the polling places, it's usually late in the evening, and they may not have time to get to the other side of the county, which would be about a 40-minute wait or drive. They may not make that 7 o'clock deadline to get into there. So this is the best option. It gives them more options of where to go vote. Like I said, whatever's closest to you. One of the new legislative changes is that we have to post at each one of those sites a notice of election listing the 4 closest vote centers. So if they're in a rush, they'll know where the closest ones are, because we'll actually highlight them on the notice of election that'll be posted on the doors, telling them which one's the next closest. So it can be something that's on their route anyway.
Okay. Well, the Election Commission did meet. That's myself, our county clerk, county tax assessor collector, and the 2 party chairs. We met 2 weeks ago, and that commission also voted to support the moving forward of this process. We heard much of the same things that we had, the testimony that we have here today. So, any other comments, questions or comments?
After today, if it is approved, is this the final step for the permanent?
It would be. Once you get a successful status, you don't have to contact the state. You can just run as vote centers from this point on.
Thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
Well, with that, we'll entertain a motion to proceed with successful vote center status in Henderson County. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to proceed with successful vote center status for Henderson County and future elections held here.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Item passes. We do have a letter that is already drafted, ready to send. We will get that sent to the Secretary of State this afternoon. Now, I believe we are at item 12,
I do have bills,
payment of bills.
2 sets of them. The first one I need approval on is for 2019, and it's $581,115.44.
Commissioner Thomas, questions?
I have no questions, Judge.
Commissioner Tooley?
I have none.
Commissioner McCam?
None.
In Precinct 4, I'd like to make note that the payment for the BOMAG, the $107,000 payment, Commissioner Giesland was wanting to, that's next year's payment, he's wanting to pay early. Is that correct? Okay, and that leaves one more payment. And this was procured during the summer this year. So honoring his request, we continue to try to get something paid off early.
Exactly.
So I wanted to point that out to everyone. So, any other questions on the 2019 bills? If not, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve the bills of 2019 as presented, Judge.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the 2019 bills in the amount of $581,115.44. All those in favor? Item passes. Next set.
Okay, for 2020, I have already for $180,278.77.
Questions, Commissioner Thomas?
No questions, Judge.
Commissioner Tooley?
None.
Commissioner McCam?
I don't have any.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2020 bill.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the 2020 bills in the amount of $180,278.77. All those in favor? Item passes. I believe we are on item 14, which is open and consider bids.
I have your bid, sir.
We are at item 15, which is convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 regarding personnel matters, namely matters pertaining to the job duties and functions of the Animal Shelter Director's position. Gentlemen, we can move into this as quickly as you want to. Do you have a time?
I'm ready.
You ready? You want to move in at 9:40, 9:35?
Be fine.
Make that motion.
I move that we convene into executive session at 9:40.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas to move into executive session at 9:40. All those in favor? Item passes. We will convene in executive session at 9:40 and be back once we have concluded our business. Please feel free to hang around, come back and finish the meeting up with us.
I move we move back into regular session.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to return to open session at, let's call it 10:52. All those in favor? Item passes. We are here to consider and take action on issues related to personnel matters discussed during our meeting. There are no actions to be taken at this time. So is there any comment that would like to be made before we move on to the adjournment? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 17, which is consider and take action to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas to adjourn. All those in favor? Item passes, and to everyone out there, Merry Christmas.